Hi, Tim.
All right.
Thank you for agreeing to come on camera and tell people about what you've been doing and your experience. So why don't you start by telling me and anyone else who might be watching, what was it that you were trying to do that you thought it would be good if you got some help from other people?
Well, I was doing mainly long distance running and triathlon and things, and yeah, I felt that I couldn't quite I could do the training, but I couldn't get the proper muscle development and the nutrition right, and so I thought that it would be good to actually be able to eat properly before a race and after training and things. I didn't know an awful lot about when to eat protein or things, or understand the importance of it, and it was meant to understand that and just help build up some of my core strength, which is quite key when you're running or doing whatever for hours on end. So I thought that was quite important to help me achieve what I wanted to do.
Okay. So before you came to Matt and I, did you have any reservations about starting employing people to help you?
Well, I'd never done it before, just because I'd done quite a lot of races beforehand, all on my own, and I'd done the training and I'd done that, and they'd gone okay, and I had really good races and a few bad races as well. But it was more just the fact that I was thinking about it for quite a while, and I had I was doing a marathon in May this year, and it just went awfully. It went, after about 10 miles I just crashed, and I thought, this is 16 miles, and I'm not going to be able to cope. And I finished, but I was way over the time that I wanted. I was not happy, and I thought then that it was partly down to the training and getting into a rhythm, and it was in the back of my mind, but I thought because I'd been okay beforehand, I wouldn't. But then you realise that it's not always, you're not going to be able to do things on your own all the time, and so sometimes it is better to have help on hand from people that really do know about this, especially when you're trying to balance a job and other things going on in your life. So I felt as though it was it was only going to help. It wasn't going to hinder me in any way, I feel.
So what have you managed to accomplish since you've had help training and with your nutrition? What has been your result? What have been your results? What have you managed to do?
I think since I started just after I did a very difficult half iron distance triathlon at the end of June, and I started just after that, and that was after I'd had, I think, 4 races in about a month, and so I started training. I think one of the big things I got out of it was I'm now more into a rhythm of training, which is, I think, way more, the discipline helped a lot, especially it's very tempting if you're on your own to say, no, I'm going to leave, I'm going to put off running, or I'm going to put off doing this, and it really got me into a rhythm, which I think was one of the best things that happened. But in terms of races, I had 4 races that coincided with training. My first Olympic distance triathlon, which was great. I got, I think, 13 minutes under my target time, and I didn't stop to walk, which is a big part of is a big factor in a race for me. I had another triathlon, half iron distance, which went very well. I was very tired. No, it wasn't very hot, so I found I struggled with that, but I got through it, and I felt that my recovery was very quick as well, which was something. And then I finished off with a half marathon and a marathon 2 weeks apart from each other, and the half marathon I knew I wasn't going to push too hard, but I got what I said I wanted to get, and I was happy with that, and I really enjoyed the day, and that put me in good stead for the marathon. And in that I got a PB by 7 minutes, and I I didn't stop to walk in either of those races, which, you know, for the marathon I wasn't expecting, and it was a great day, and I'd managed to pace myself perfectly through every 5k split, so all the times were the same. Give or take, I was going at the exact. I started at the same speed I finished at, which, you know, for a runner is a very, very important aspect of what you want to do. And I think that the training has definitely helped me physically, but also mentally. It's helped me get into a rhythm and a discipline that that you really need, that isn't quite there if you're training without someone to keep an eye on you.
So, if somebody was thinking of coming to work with Matt and I to do something like what you've been doing, what would you say to them?
Well, I've recommended you guys to people. I'd say, you know, for sort of long distance and events, or just running, or, you know, things like that, I'd say really go for it, especially if you're not in that rhythm of doing things properly, if you're not training as well as you should, if you feel as though you sort of need someone to keep an eye on your efforts. I'd say that it's a really good way to sort of see where you actually are, because there's how you think you are physically, and then there's how you actually are, which is, you know, when you start anything like this, is very different. So I thought I was a lot better than I was, and I'd say that give it a go, because you know, the worst that could happen is you sort of find out that, you know, there isn't a fit there, which I didn't feel at all. I felt it really did help, and the support was great for it, you know, being very patient with me, and I'd get disappointed about things, and so I definitely say give it a shot. Yeah.
Thanks, Tim.
Easy.